Hey everyone! I hope you had a great day and doing well. Today we are looking at r/I do work here lady. I hope you enjoy the stories as much as I do. The first story is called You Have an Appointment. I'm a service technician for a gas company. And I'm also the only female service technician for the gas company. This leads to confusion on a daily basis. So I arrive at a 9 to 12 appointment the other day at 9:05. It was a super simple job. Exchange the gas meter, inspect the gas equipment in the house, relight equipment, and then be on my way to my next call. We get 30 minutes allotted for each job like this. But dispatch understands that this doesn't always work. Sometimes it takes 15 minutes if the old meter was installed well and the gas equipment is all new. But sometimes it takes 3 hours if I have to rebuild the whole service and coax an old boiler back to life. I grab my tools out of the truck, grab a new meter and head over to the front door. The call says hazard, dog. So I figure it's best to check in with the customer before I head into the yard. I knock and ring the doorbell, but no answer. So I pull the customer's number off of the call and give him a call. Good morning. I'm from the gas company. You have a meter exchange appointment booked for this morning. Is anyone at home? Not at the moment. Is the tech already there? Yes sir, I'm here at the address. Will you be home soon? Yes, tell the tech to wait. I'll be home in about 15 minutes. Okay, I'll wait for you. Can I start working in the yard or is your dog outside? But the customer just hangs up, so I decided to wait. It's extremely cold outside and the wind is freezing. I'm bundled up, but I'm going to be outside all day. So I decide to wait in the truck to preserve my warmth. I drop my tools and the new meter off at the gate to the yard and sit in my truck until the customer pulls into the driveway. When the customer arrives, I immediately set my truck off and jog over to the house. So I spoke with someone in the office and they said that the tech was already here. Where is he? I have to get back to work soon. I can't wait here all morning. I am the tech, sir. And that was me that you spoke with. If you're all good, I'll get the meter change out for you. Then get your furnace and water heater going. Well, if you say so. But if that's the case, where are your tools? Over by the gate. I left them there so they'd be ready to go when you got here. Okay. Say, how long have you been doing this? This specifically? A little over a year. Working in the industry? Almost 9 years. Okay. Go ahead. You don't have anyone coming to help you? No, sir. This is a very simple job. I should be able to have it done in 15 to 20 minutes or so. And the call said you have a dangerous dog. Is it contained? He's a 12-year-old beagle. You're fine. I don't know why anyone thought he was dangerous. So I could have started almost 3/4 of an hour ago at this point. And my next 2 calls were in jeopardy because of how long I've been waiting here at this point. So I get to work and sure enough, his meter is in pretty rough shape. I pull the meter off with some difficulty and my largest wrenches, and then start cranking some of the bad fittings out so I can rebuild part of the set to make this job easier the next time we have to change the meter and generally safer. He was leaning over my shoulder the whole time, continually asking if I was sure I know what I'm doing and if I really don't need to call for help. I got my fitting done and went inside. Sure enough, the gas equipment was all high efficiency. So all it took was a couple resets to clear out the air bubbles and it all fired up perfectly. The call took about an hour once I actually had my tools on, which is a little longer than anticipated. But still a very good time frame for the work I wound up having to do to leave the place in a safe condition. A very good time frame, mind you, for any tech who could have had the call. As I was gathering my things to go, he got one last jab in. You know, I would really appreciate it if they could actually send a real tech next time. I don't feel comfortable having one of the office girls doing this kind of work for me. I'm going to have a word with the gas company and tell them as much. So, for the last time, I am a qualified service technician. The next customer was a very sweet old lady who met me at the door and immediately presented me with muffins. They told me you were coming even though it should be illegal to work in this temperature. I made muffins. Take them, you deserve it. They really shouldn't be making you work in this. The next story is called Thrown Out by a Temp Worker. We are 2 art directors managing a big client. So when one is sick or away, there's always one in the office. We have an office that is separated from the rest of the team, as we're doing lots of documents that are under NDA. I usually never meet my clients, and when I do, it's in our building. So I dress casually instead of other coworkers. I'm also looking way younger than I am. My coworker is quite the total opposite. Nicely dressed with a big beard, but while I'm a few years younger than him, we still have the same exact job. I've been working from home on a big project for the last days. The other director is leaving the country, so I needed to be back at the office in order to supervise the work of some of the designers. When I come to the office, the first thing I do is head to the coffee machine to have some coffee and discuss with some of my colleagues. They tell me that the CEO and COO are both out of the office for the rest of the week. So basically, I'm the one in charge of my team. After that, I go to my desk as usual. And there are 2 persons I've never met. One is a freelancer we hired because of the workflow. The other guy is replacing my other designer as he's sick. Before I could say hi or anything, this dude gets quickly up. "What are you doing here? We're doing confidential work. You're not supposed to see that." "Hi, I'm..." "You should leave now." "But I'm..." "Get out." I stop there and get out, trying to hide my smile. As I walk out of our office, I stumble upon my designer, which comes back from her lunch break. I quickly tell her what happened, and after she laughed at me, I ask her to not tell anything to this dude. I'm having a second coffee, thinking about what I would do now. I told my client what happened. There's a meeting with my whole team, some other people happening in a few hours, and I'm part of it. We are going to discuss various projects. The coffee shop owner is a nice dude. I had a free coffee when I told him what happened. I was able to go in the meeting room early as I planned. My client is still laughing at me about what happened. Some of my colleagues came and one of them told me she knew what happened because my designer told her. She was impatient to see how it will go. Finally, my design team is there. My designer has the biggest smile ever, and she presents the client to the 2 new persons. The guy makes a weird face when he spots me, and I see him becoming white when my designer introduced me to the other freelancer and him. The other one, which was there this morning when he threw me out of my office, looks shocked. The dude is slightly trying to hide behind my designer, but she's way shorter than him. It's difficult to stay serious, so I quickly start the meeting once I can make a sentence without bursting in laughter. The meeting goes as it should, and the dude is not talking much. I can't make eye contact with him. I've never seen someone as embarrassed as him. He's looking really unsure and stressed when he has to talk about the project he was working on. I try my best to have him interact, but he seems too ashamed to talk with me. He's saved by my designer, answering sometimes instead of him. I wish she was a bit less nice person, but I won't force him too much. He's slowly merging with his chair and looks quite red now. At the end of the meeting, I had to send them back to work and stay a bit more with my client to discuss. The dude was the first one to get out. The next day he apologized to me and said he's been feeling embarrassed and quite ashamed by how he behaved yesterday. Apparently I was not looking like the idea he had of me, based on what people said about me. He also said he was quite a bit stressed as my colleague wasn't here and he was working on a confidential document. For his defense, it was quite an important one. I can live with someone too dedicated to confidentiality. He brought me some croissants as an apology gift. I think I like him. I still chuckle. But he seems quite a nice guy after all. He apologized in person and in public. I respect that. But maybe people can buy my trust with food. The last story is called I'm Not Interviewing. A few years ago, I had worked for the company for over 5 years as a database administrator and team lead for the database group. Over the previous year, I had been working remotely. So a few of the newer hires on the other teams in IT don't know me by sight. We recently needed to hire a few more developers for the web team. I had made it known to the management team that we need more developers with SQL experience. So the decision was made that I would sit in on the interviews rather than the others on my team. The day of the interviews comes around and I'm in my office. I print out the resume for today's contestants. I'm the first to show up at the conference room with printouts in hand and have a seat. About 2 minutes later, a junior web developer and a business analyst walk in. Since I've never met them before, I stood up to shake their hands and introduce myself. Before I can say who I am, they start in. A little underdressed for an interview? I'm in blue jeans and polo, normal attire for the office. That's okay. Do you have copies of your resume? Yeah, I have the one. They were still not catching on. Wow, you people are never prepared. Excuse me? How do you expect to get hired if you dress like that and don't bring copies of your resume? Ah, I think I see the problem. The developer cuts me off. I think you are the problem. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave. We are cancelling your interview. My mouth drops open. I hold up my work ID. Do you know what this is? Both mouths fall open, and all I could say is, yes, that's right. I work here. And now that I have your attention, like I was trying to say, I'm the database admin. I've worked here for 5 years. I know we've never met, but if this is how you treat future employees, I'll have to chat with the development manager. But I'm sorry, can we start over? Please? I do have a sick sense of humor. So I realize that I now have ammunition for years to come. About 2 minutes later, the development manager shows up with the first contestant, the actual interviewee, and the games begin. I did have a little chat with the development manager about what happened, and we had a great laugh about it. Every time I had a meeting with those two, I always hold up my badge and announce that I still work here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. And please leave a comment with your favorite subreddit. Have a great day. Bye bye.